Welcome everybody to another amazing project management session with Veronica Lane. Over the 24 years Veronica's been doing this, she's trained thousands and thousands of leaders. I suspect some of the tools have evolved until then, and there was probably some good tools you use and some bad tools. And some tools that were bad are now good, or were good and now bad, right? So it's just like,
Absolutely.
right, just like with our AI sessions every week, it's like you got to kind of stay on top of things. But and then when you go down those roads, do you stay there? When if we find things aren't right, do we make a shift? But anyway, I don't want to say anymore. I'm going to turn it over to you, and thanks for being here.
All right. Well, thank you so much. As you all know by now, I get excited. I get excited. So this is something that I get to do. It's not something that I have to do. And so when you get to do things, you show up a little bit differently. So when I decided to partner up with WITI, one of my biggest things was how can I be a servant leader? Project management is my thing. It is my jam. It's what I do. I read about it. I watch videos on it. I nerd out on it, all other things. But when I started, to what David said, things were totally different. Like everything was manual. We actually had to write things. That was when my penmanship was fantastic because I had to write things down, and now I don't write quite as much, and I'm embarrassed when I even have to write something, and my fingers feel weird when I need to do it. I can type like a bandit, but my penmanship has suffered, but my typing skills have excelled. When I first started in project management, I will tell you that it's funny, it came from a boss that over time our business relationship changed. But when we had first started off, he basically said, there is this new thing that's out, and it's not a part of operations, but you support operations. How we do it is a little bit different than the operations side. So I know that operations is all you know, right? That entire pyramid CEO always doing what you're told, and you're conditioned in that way to always do what you're told. But then on the project management side, we actually get to be creative. We get to self-reflect and figure out, well, what are the things that I know that I need in order to be successful? And it could be different for somebody else. I had a $200 leather-bound planner that same boss ordered for me. Okay, I admit when we first started, he had no idea that he was about to place this order, but I placed the order, and then he got the invoice. And he said, I just need to know what a $200 planner looks like. So as soon as it comes in, send it to me. And that's how I manage my projects. And I was proud of that. I knew everything that was taking place. But then I got another boss, and the next boss said to me, so how do you manage your projects? And I said, oh, it's my time to shine. It's my time to shine. Okay, so, and I go and get my leather-bound planner, and I show it to her in all of the glory of the planner. And she looks at me, horror, I say. She said, so this is how you manage your projects? I said, yes. Yes, I'm showing her all my tabs. I'm showing her all my Post-its. I'm showing her all the things. She said, no, no, on so many levels. That's not how you should be doing this. Have you heard of Microsoft Project? I said, no, never heard of Microsoft Project. And truth be told, apparently my boss hadn't either, because he was the one who bought me the $200 leather-bound planner. Had we known about anything else, then something tells me that we would have done something else. So I always say, don't worry about being perfect. Focus in on being excellent. Those aren't the same things. So the things that you know today served you today. If there happens to be something else that will serve you better in the future, I just say be open to that new thing. Don't just stick where you currently are because this is what you've always done. So today, I want you to know that my focus is to give you the tools that are top as of today. If we do this again in 6 months, it might be something different. But as of this moment, as of our conversation, these are the tools that you have available to maximize your project efficiency. Okay. I do want to be nosy though. Can you please type into the chat for me? What tools do you currently use? Are there any software programs, any programs? What do you currently use to manage your projects? Please type it into the chat. What's out there? Teams and tasks. Awesome. Thank you, Holly. What else? What else? Outlook and Teams. Okay. DevOps. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. So Vanessa, or would you think of yourself as a product owner or something different? And you can type your response. Oh, Agile coach. Thank you. Jira, Monday. Okay. Whatever else comes out. Understood. Understood. All right. Teams, tasks. Excellent. Okay. So we are going to talk about some of those things over the years, right? Views, Mondays, the whole projects. Okay. MS project. Please think of tools as things that do a thing. It's nothing more special than that. But that also means that it's important for you to know what you want the thing to do. I have managed organizations that have called me in and said, I'm excellent at managing projects. And I said, are you? Okay, so why do you feel that way? I'm not pushing back. I just want to know why you believe that. And the responses have been consistent. I'll tell you what they've been. It has been because of whatever tool. Because we use this tool, we are excellent at project management. Now that you know me, you know I'm like lies. The tool is not what makes you great. I'm not an artist, so I might have technology that helps me be a little bit more creative. But it's not the tool that's great. It's how I've chosen to use the tool and how I deliver that and what I'm pulling from it. That's what makes you a little bit different. So I want you to think about tools as only tools. You as the individual has to figure out, what do you want the tool to do? Where are you lacking? You know, like project management says, what is your as is state? What is your should be state? How do you bridge the gap? Okay. I know that I want to be able to do this, not quite sure how to do this. Is there something out there that can help me do this more effectively and more efficiently? As that book, The One Thing says, what is the one thing that I should be doing right now that could make my life easier or something else obsolete? I want you to think of your tools in that way. Okay. Now that we know that tools are necessary, how do you pick the right one? Because there's so many that are currently out there. How do we do that? And now that we have it, are we using it to the best of its ability? Okay, so I am going to share tools with you. And I'm also going to show tools to you. There is only one tool that I can't physically show you because I have to pay for it, and I'm just not going to do that. But there's another tool that you have probably heard of that we'll be able to use. So why do we need it? How is it helpful for us? Our project management tools help streamline the communication. We already know that nobody wants to go to a meeting. Please show me a show of hands. Do we already know? Nobody wants to go to the meeting, right? So if I have technology that will help me communicate to you or execute on this communication plan, then I'm going to do that. But that also means that whomever I'm delivering this to has agreed to use it. That's one of the main reasons why in that other org, I had to send so many emails. It wasn't because I didn't have the technology once that one boss said, I need you to be using this. Now that I'm using this, no one else in the org wanted to use it. So I still had to send those emails. So as the project manager, it's important for us to put together what the communication plan will be and then get sign off on that communication plan. If you don't want to have a meeting, I highly recommend that you use XYZ. Okay. We also want to collaborate, especially since a lot of us are not in the same location. I need for everyone to be able to still see what is being worked on. It's as if, like on the agile side, Vanessa, I need people to work in the sandbox. This is my sandbox, and I need for y'all to play well together, just saying. Okay, so I need for you to play well together in the sandbox. I want this to be where we can live. This is our hub. If there's anything else that would be helpful for us, let's socialize it. Let's talk about it, okay? We also want to make sure that we can manage the complexity. Our projects now have so many moving pieces, not just the agile side, even the waterfall projects. So waterfall projects were supposed to be streamlined. Waterfall projects were supposed to be linear. Waterfall projects aren't supposed to have a lot of twists and turns in them. They're supposed to be finite. It's not supposed to be continuous improvements. But our projects now, even on the waterfall side, we have projects that live in projects that live in projects that live in projects. How do I manage all of that? Does everything need to be a program, or on the agile side, an epic? How can I manage it when it does turn into that? Okay. We also want to make sure that we are still productive. Everyone that is a part of your project team wants to know that their contributions are doing something. They want to see all of the trends, or at least, did my piece help us move us forward? And if so, I don't need everyone to come hug me, but I do want people to acknowledge that I've done it. Hey, people don't leave jobs because of the job. People leave jobs because of how they're managed. And now that you are the project manager over XYZ, what tools can you use to make it a little bit easier? So we're going to talk about some of them. I'm going to highlight them first. As of this week, these are the top ones in use right now. And the tip top per reviews of thousands of people who are using it, ClickUp right now is the number one. Okay. Please give me a reaction. Have you used ClickUp before? Okay. Have you heard of it? Or is this new to you? Okay. All right. So we are going to talk about all of them, right? The one that I'm not going to show you because they want my money and I don't want to give it to them is Microsoft Project. Okay. I'm just not going to do that. But Asana, ClickUp, Jira, and Smartsheet, we are going to dive into those. So I'm going to share part of my desktop so that you can see it. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Don't judge me
You're not
on my
sharing your screen. Oh no, you are, my bad. That was user
okay.
error.
Okay, so this is Asana. This is Asana. And Asana is very user friendly. It loves a good color scheme. Okay. It is focusing in, and I have chosen this particular project, the Hudson Yards in New York. Now, that particular project is to develop that area in New York. I've been there, it's really pretty. In fact, that is actually where Home Box Office is located with their headquarters, which is unnecessarily gorgeous. Okay, so that's where that lives. So if we were to think about our home side, I just clicked home, and I can use this as my dashboard. Okay, so what are the different things that I have assigned to me? And if we have a team, I can share this with my team, and now they're going to have their own dashboard. They'll be able to see all of the tasks that they have assigned, what the goals are. If there are different projects that we want to add to this dashboard, I can absolutely do that. And because dates are a part of this, it can share with me if there's something that is coming up. It'll share with me if there's something that is about to be late or is late, or is this something that I have done? Life is great. Okay. I can take a look at my tasks only. When are these things due? And these headers that I have here, I can change them. So this isn't something that is static. If I wanted to alter the verbiage here, I could alter that. And happily, now I can change the view. So let's just say that I have lots of tasks and I wanted to add one. We'll just add one. And I'm going to add a date. I'll just add that. And I'll say that this is still tied to the Hudson Yards project, right? And where I want to see it, I can put that, but I can change things. I can add fields. I can do that, okay? If I wanted it to look like Trello, I could, and as most of you probably know, all Trello is our Kanban boards, right? So I can make this look like a Kanban board if I want to. I can move things. I can do that. If I wanted it to look like a calendar view, I could do that. If there were files that I needed to add, I could do that. And I can change things. I can add notes, okay? If this serves you, then there aren't any adjustments that you need to make. If it doesn't serve you, you can customize it. What are the fields? What rules, right? Because I can add automations in there. And if I wanted to add in apps, I could do that too. Okay. I will tell you why some like Asana. This isn't the only reason, but I'll tell you some of the reasons. One of them is that it doesn't have a lot of moving pieces if you don't want a lot of moving pieces. If your projects are more straightforward, then this is a great place to be, right? I don't need to do a lot. I just need to be able to do this. Okay. If I wanted to add my reports in there, this can be my hub. I admit I don't have anything that I've put in there. So it'll be interesting if something shows up, but I would be able to do that. If I needed to put together portfolios, I could do that. If I wanted goals for my team, I could do that, or even goals from myself. People like to be incented. This can help them be incented, but it doesn't do too much. Not everyone needs a lot, right? Any thoughts on Asana? Has anyone used Asana? And if so, how did this work for your org? As you can tell, they love the colors. Where I used to work, my organization would not let this fly. Not at all. We were pretty rigid. All right. So that's Asana. If anything else comes up, please let me know. I am going to now show you ClickUp. This is that #1 program that I was talking about. I do not have any live projects here. This is just for our conversation. Okay. That being said, I added some options here. I wanted a dashboard, and now I'm saying to myself, what are the types of things that my teams or my stakeholders usually ask me for? I can create a dashboard that matches what I usually get asked for. As I mentioned, what is the one thing that I can be doing right now that if I do it, it's going to save me time, or it's going to make something else obsolete. So if we're looking at different project tracking items that I could use, and I know that some of you said that you're using Microsoft Teams, ClickUp integrates with Microsoft Teams. So you can still have that communication side, as well as this could be one of your hubs. If I wanted to list out my projects, or let's just do this. I'm going to change this to, I'll say in progress. All I need to do is just type it in, and then I can click save. Save. Okay. I can change whatever color this happens to be. If I wanted to use this like a work breakdown structure, all of these headers, I can just put as my main columns from my work breakdown. If I did want this to look like a board, I could do that too. Okay. I'm going to make up some things and put it in there. Okay. So I'm able to add some items if I want to. Okay. What do I want to add? If I needed to add tasks, like subtasks, I could add subtasks there. Okay. Whatever is needed, I'm able to do it. Once I click it, just like a Kanban board, a card is going to show up for me. With this card, I can show what items are in progress, what the dates are. If we're using WAGs, as a lot of you know what WAGs are wild something guesses. So if I were to put my timetable, the estimate out there, my WAG, I could do that. If I also wanted to put tags because I've created categories for certain tasks, I could do that. But one of the fun things that I really like, especially if we are using WAGs, what I could do is say our estimate, my time optimistic, my time pessimistic, my time most likely is this. But now I need to figure out a way to compare it to my actual. And then I wanted to show you what the variances are. So when they start working on this make-believe task, I can say, I need for you to start timer. Okay, so now they have clicked start timer, and I want you to keep that timer running while you're actively working in this task. And then when you're finished with this task today, in this segment, I want you to click on stop timer. And so now this is going to give me a rolling total of how long someone's been working on this task. So if I'm looking for some sort of a baseline, this is going to help me create that baseline. Maybe this will also help me incent. So if I'm working with my time optimistic, that is my best case. My time pessimistic, that is my worst case. My time most likely, I can say, y'all, we're doing better than expected because ... I don't know, y'all, we are doing worse than expected. I think we need to do XYZ. I can now see that, okay? If for your team, when they work on their task or create cards, because they're able to create cards too, if they were to do this, you could create a template for the description. You could ask them, I need for you to fill out these fields, populate these fields. If I need to know what my start to finish, finish to start relationships are, I can add those in. If I needed to put time in there, like vacations, things like that, I could do that. With ClickUp, if I have vendors that I need to pay, I can use this to help pay. Okay. How do you want? Oh, you can ask. Feel free, Vanessa. What you got? Feel free. Feel free.
So my has finished, so I'm actually able to speak again. So,
Okay.
what happens when multitasking? Does it allow for multiple tasks at the same time? And how do you assign time to one or the other? Because I wish I had the luxury to work on one thing at a time.
Well, multitasking doesn't exist. You're always doing one thing at a time. Some people are doing it a little bit faster, that's all. But that being said, once I finish with this thing, then I click stop and I go into the next thing that I need to work in. Think about this as a tool only. It is not going to change how you navigate life. It's just going to make it easier to track things that have been done. Okay. So if there are multiple things, let's just say you're a programmer and you are trying to code something, right? While you are putting in code, something else is currently running, right? So this code is active right now, but you're still not physically doing something, right? So what am I looking for? And it sounds like, and please tell me if I'm not right, I have added also workload. So for your team, if you are the main person, and we're looking at this from a project manager's, not a subject matter expert side of things, and you're trying to track progress, if I did have team members, then this is going to show me what their workload is. If you're looking to manage someone who's doing multiple things at once, then I can look at real-time activities. Okay, and I can do this for my team. Okay, so I have something like it so that I can track things, right? But we're always only doing one thing at a time physically. Okay, but you have options though. You have options. So think of this as finding which view, which items, right? So where I just showed you activity, this is a real-time activity feed that you could use with your team. Okay. If I'm looking for the workload, so I have options there. Yes, please, Vanessa.
Well, I was wondering because you have those really nice dice that you just change to a different side, and then does it interface with tools like that?
Yes.
All right, perfect. That's handy at least, because then it will do the clicking for you.
Yay. I always find all of the yays that I can find. Okay.
Thanks.
So these are options. Now, let's just say that you're saying to yourself, all right, well, calendar view, wonderful. Okay, yes, we also have Gantt. So we have things that are tied to Gantt that I can put there. If I wanted to mind map with my team, I could do that too. I have options. I have options, and I can include automations. So if you were to think of team members are like, well, I'm still waiting on Sally to get finished with this and this and this. Okay, well, no worries, because as soon as Sally clicks XYZ status, it's automatically going to go into your queue to work on it. Okay, so we will always know once we get those things programmed. Let's say that you don't like how I currently have this showing. What I'm going to do is create another space, but I don't have to create it. I can take a look and see what templates are out there. Okay, so when you think about your projects, what type of projects do you have? And then find a template that matches it. Okay, so since Vanessa, you're in that agile space, you can create sprints and estimates and epics, and you can do all of the fun agile things so that, in fact, even daily stand-ups, all of the things are already a part of the program. Okay, you would just want to have it set up, but you can do all of the things. Okay. But I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I want to show you another one. But does anyone else have any questions about ClickUp? And I will share this with you. You're looking at the free version right now. It's free. Is there always things that you could pay for? Yes. I haven't needed to pay for anything yet. I'm not saying that you might not, but I'm saying that I haven't had to pay for anything yet. All right. Any questions on ClickUp? All right. So now we are going to head over to Microsoft Project. Like I mentioned prior, I didn't actually pay for it, but I did want you to know what it looked like. So there are, it's to me, to Veronica, it's a really robust Excel, and 35% of project managers still use Excel to manage their projects. So I don't want you to think there's anything wrong with using Excel, because it works. You can make macros, all of the things. But with this, if you've noticed, you're able to still do the boards and the timelines and really figure out what the view is, especially if you're focusing in on reporting. If reporting is your thing, and I need to make sure that I'm giving this to this person because they like it to look like this, or I'm giving it to this person because they like it to look like this, find something that will give you that option. Okay. See what that looks like for you. Right. I'm going to dive into Jira now. Okay. So this is Jira. One of the reasons why people tend to use Jira is because your project is enormous. If your project isn't enormous, then one of the other options probably would have worked for you. Yes, please. Love to see. I would love to use free tools, yay, but have been concerned about the confidentiality, understood, the corporate data, especially when data is stored in the cloud. Okay. I will share this with you. So if we're thinking about ClickUp, we'll just say, there are ways that you can make it private, right? So you are able to turn on all the privacy items tied to it. I would recommend looking to see if the privacy options match your needs, but always look for the privacy side or that security side of things. No one's able to log in to my projects. And actually, that was one of the reasons why I started using ClickUp, was because the project that I was working on that time was highly proprietary, and we did the research there. But that research matched what my client needed. I'd highly recommend to take a look and see what it looks like for you. Absolutely. Okay. So on the Jira side of things, as you can see, I have also used the Hudson Yard for that. If I want it to look like a board, I could. If I want it to look like a list, I could. Okay. I can still add fields if I want to add fields. And this part for me and Jira, I'm a big fan of. I can add approvers without having to look somewhere else to find out if I already have approval for this thing. I no longer need to go to somebody's desk and say, did you do this? I believe that peer pressure is important, and I don't think that we use it enough. Okay. So if I have all of the things that need approvals that the world and their friends can see, and everyone knows that Tom hasn't approved this yet, peer pressure is going to have people go to Tom and say, Tom, you're holding up the progress. I, the project manager or the scrum master, don't always have to do that. Peer pressure does that. Okay. So we have options there. I, of course, have my timelines I could use if I needed to add the attachments. If we're focusing in on risk and I need to have my risk register or my issues log, it can have that, which is a little bit different than the other programs that I showed you. So if your project has a lot of moving pieces and you have it and it's large and you have to make sure that everything is covered at a different capacity than what we were talking about prior, then Jira is a great place to be. I'm also going to show you one more, okay? And this is Smartsheet. Smartsheet. So Smartsheet has lots of options here, as you can tell, okay? It really depends upon what you need for it to do. Okay. All right. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to actually see what some of these tools look like so that you can determine whether or not this is going to fit for you. So what does that look like? What should you be paying close attention to? One of those items is, what is the complexity of your project? If it's extremely complex, Jira and Microsoft is probably the way to go. Okay. If we're focusing in on our team size and the type of work that you need to do, or if you're even using vendors or you have to pay vendors, then these are the great places to go. And if you're looking for pricing, absolutely find out what makes the most sense for your budget. Okay. Take a look at the features that you want it to do. As I mentioned prior, all of our projects and the software programs that we're using for our projects need to do a thing. So what is the thing that you want it to do? Are you focusing more on time tracking, right? So if you're looking at your constraints, and this is the most important constraint, find one that tracks time better than what you're currently using. If you are struggling with keeping your project moving because it seems as though people are continuing to wait for things, then you might want to automate and focus in on the thing that automates the best, right? But you're always thinking about what works well for you. I want to give you the opportunity to think about and talk about and bounce ideas off of each other tied to the tools that you were just able to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a couple of breakout rooms so that you can socialize that. I'm only going to give us 4 minutes to do that. And then we can share what your findings are once we come back. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a pop-up on your screen, and your pop-up is going to ask you to join a room. Once you do that, your microphones and your cameras are going to be turned off. You'll absolutely want to turn them on so that they can see and or hear you. When the last person goes into the room, that's when I'm going to start that 4-minute timer. Okay. Any questions about what we're about to do? All right. So I'm going to open up those rooms now. I'll see you in about 4 minutes.
Didn't see your email till late last night, and then I was out, and then this morning's been an S show. Not an S. But so what do you want? So what do you want to do? Do you want to take? Do you have like a affiliate link, or do you want to just think you could ask them how they heard about it? Do you want me taking the transactions on my end and setting up a page? Tell
Okay.
me what's
Well, as you know, this is my first time doing something like that, and this is recorded too. So should we do it offline? Oh. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. So room number 1, we had Holly and Mary and Monique. What are your thoughts? Does one fit better or worse? What were your findings from room number 1, Holly, Mary, and Monique? Yes, please, Monique.
Yeah, so we were talking about different different tools that we've used, and I was sharing that there's a tool that someone in our company had suggested that we use, and we were using on a very small scale. It did all this work and then the tool failed. So it was like, you know, I am an Excel spreadsheet and I like to handwrite still. So it's a good thing I had that backup, even though it was like, oh, we need to use this. You know, I think sometimes if you don't vet things, you know, always have a backup. That's what I say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else from room 1? What are your thoughts?
I'm just sorry, Monique, that I hit the wrong button when I asked you that question and I disappeared. So I apologize.
Good.
Not on purpose.
That's okay. That's okay. Room number 2, Michelle, Vanessa, and is it Sharina or Charina? Please tell me.
Karina.
Sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please. How did it go?
Yeah, same. We were just discussing the different tools that we've used. I know we had one question. Vanessa, I don't know if you want to share that with the team.
Yeah, I was just talking about my experience that my work is all done in DevOps because the code is managed within DevOps. And I know that project managers, if they have the really big projects, they use Microsoft Project on top. But the other thing I was wondering about is Viva Goals in this list. Yeah, okay, well, I've actually used that. So yeah, I know a tool.
I love it. Well, and we're always, like I said prior, what is the thing that you want to be able to do? And then is there a thing that does the thing? If it exists, try it out. If it doesn't, now I know, right? So think of me as your project management DJ. I'm not creating the song, but I'm mixing it together, right? What are all of the different pieces? What do I know work compared to what I know doesn't work? And I'm never going to share with you something that I already know sucks, because that's just a waste of time. I'm not going to do that. But I'm also not going to tell you what to use, because it really is tied to your organization, their comfortability, right? Just like Monique said, she has been burnt before, okay? But then on the other side of things, I could say I have been burnt when I had it on paper, right? Now this is the only version of it that I have, and now that's gone. Now I have to start over. So it really, this is where your risk management comes in. What are the risks that you have identified for your org? And then what changes or adjustments would you need to make to that? Okay. So that being said, think about what your best practices should be. Can you get the buy-in? If you can, and you shared with them what tools are possible, what other tools that we're able to use, then let's do that. Okay. We also want to see, does it integrate with what you're currently using? If it does, great. If it doesn't, don't use it, because now you are going to be making more work for yourself. Okay. How adaptable is the tool? Is it static? Like, that was one of the main reasons why I wanted you to know and see that there's a bunch of different templates out there. If you're using Agile, and Vanessa, if you ever dive into ClickUp, oh, and there are so many YouTubes like that. I personally like how often they update their YouTube channel, because it teaches you all of the things and it walks you through all of the things. So on the Agile side, it does so much, and some of the things I've never even had to do yet, but I know that it's available if I did need to do it. Okay. And I'll also say that how updated are the tools, right? If this is a one and done, and if it's not growing like our industry is, then I don't want it, right? Because I don't, to what Monique said, I don't want to start over. I don't want to start over, and I don't want to have to load this onto something else. So you have things to pay attention to, things to find out what's going to work best for you. Okay. So I want you to know that it's really up to you. And I don't know if you wanted me to hand that back over to you or not, but I'm sorry, it is. It really is up to you. I have shared with you things that are in use now. And now this is where I could say your hard work comes in. What type of conversations do you need to have? Are you going to sit back and evaluate what I currently use, and is this still serving me? If it is still serving me, fantastic. If it's not, what else can serve you? And then focus in on what that looks like for you. Okay. I do have classes that are available. One of them is Mastering Project Management Tools, Techniques, and Team Dynamics. One of them is going to be on the 7th. The other one is on the 14th. And another one is on the 31st. Okay, so some are in the afternoon, some are in the morning, to take care of my West Coast people. I'm in Tampa. But I wanted you to know that I am available. And you also have my QR code up there if you do want to sign up for those classes. But as we know, I like to hand it back over to David. So David, it's yours.
Thank you, Veronica. That was amazing. We'll get more information about the courses that Veronica has, and we're certainly partnering with her to make sure she's available and you go deeper on some of these things. We do have job search strategies happening in an hour, and then our monthly Where Did the Money Go Last Month with our partner Link SV at noon Pacific in 2 hours. I put a link to the survey in the chat, so please give us any feedback. There's some open areas, just anything you want to tell us about how we can improve your WITI experience. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'm jonesing for some pizza. Vanessa,
Right?
Sorry,
but that's it, you know, and it's like 10 a.m. There's nothing open, but I have
that's
to work.
delicious.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, Veronica.
Thank
You're very
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.